Hello again, and welcome to Ignorance is Myth. I am back here with the witch Blair,
Hello,
and
hello.
we are going to be today going through the Celtic myth, the Salmon of Knowledge. Ooh, okay.
Wise old fish.
Why is it gotta be fish?
Oh, no,
Um,
I said wise old fish, but also,
oh,
yeah, why is it gotta be? Well, do you know
well,
why it is a fish?
why is it a fish?
It swam in a pool where the nuts of knowledge fell from, I believe they were hazelnuts, fell,
Oh,
and it ate them, and then it gained all the knowledge of creation.
so if I eat enough Nutella.
Potentially. I believe it was hazelnuts, so I could be wrong. But if you
Oh,
have Nutella and spread it on salmon,
oh.
I will have you sectioned.
I think that was the only right way to finish that sentence.
Yeah.
Okay, right. Let's get right into it. So,
This is an Irish one. I'll be on you for this one.
oh, I know my pronunciation is going to be terrible, but let's give it a go.
Hey, I've told you before, there are so many like dialects in Ireland. Even if you got one of them, all the others would say you were wrong. So
Yeah. Okay. That makes me feel better. At least I'll be wrong to the majority. I can just expect it.
we're used to that. We're queer.
Okay. Very true. Long ago, in the time where druids whispered secrets to the trees and rivers, remembered the old songs. Does that make sense?
In a time when the druids whispered secrets to the trees and rivers remembered the old songs.
Oh my God, yeah, it did make sense. There, there lived a poet and seer named Finn MacCool. Nailed it. Um, though I feel like people who aren't reading this won't know how much of an achievement that was. That's not how it's spelled.
No, it's Irish, much like Siobhan is pronounced Siobhan.
Yes, exactly,
And
exactly.
Aoife is spelt like someone entered a who can have the most vowels in their name competition. It's like,
Right, exactly. So I'm going to take that win. So though Finn McCool was not always a hero, he was once just a quiet, curious boy named Demne, fostered in secret, hidden from those who sought his life.
his father was a famous hero, and so he was raised in secret
Mm,
um, by two incredible druidic warrior women who we never have told if they're a couple, but they give couple vibes because people wanted to kill him before he became as good as his dad.
oh, wow. Okay. So he's already living in the shadow, quite literally, of his father.
Oh yeah.
Okay. We're going to go an
He
interesting.
eventually joins his father's old war band, which is now led by the guy who killed his dad. Like Finn is one of my favorite characters from Irish mythology because his life is just like protagonist on acid.
Oh, wow. I love that. Okay. Okay. Oh, let's get deep into it then. But even before he was great, the winds of destiny were already swirling around him. There was a man named Finnegas, a wise and aging poet who lived by the banks of the river Boyne. Boyne?
Yep.
Sure, Boyne. For 7 long years, he had waited there, fishing, studying, hoping, because legend said that in the river swam a creature of immense power, the Salmon of Knowledge. Okay. So this salmon that's been eating Nutella is swimming through the river, and old Finnegas is waiting for him. Okay. This fish had eaten the nuts that fell from the 9 hazelnuts of wisdom that grew beside the well of Segais. And in doing so, it had absorbed the world's knowledge. It was said that whoever first tasted the flesh of the salmon would gain the wisdom of all ages. I have a feeling this myth is going to go into themes of is ignorance really bliss? Okay, let's find out. One day, Finnegas caught the fish. It shimmered in the sunlight, heavy with prophecy. At last he would taste it, and with wisdom gained complete his life's work. But before doing so, he called upon his young pupil, Demne, to prepare the fish while he went to ready his sacred place.
Mistake.
All for asking for help, but my God, if you can do it
Be
yourself.
careful what you delegate.
Yeah, absolutely. So Demne cooked the salmon over the fire with great care, but as he turned it on the spit, a drop of hot fish oil splashed onto his thumb, burning it. Instinctively, he put his thumb into his mouth to soothe the sting. That single moment changed everything. When Finnegas returned and looked into the boy's eyes, he knew the ancient knowledge, the deep and hidden truths of the world now lived in Demne. This is reminding me a lot of Caradwen's story with the Cauldron of Awan, and yeah, it's quite similar. Again, I know the Welsh ones. Did you eat the fish? The old poet asked, his voice barely above a whisper. That should have been more. Did you eat the fish? The old poet asked. No, said Demne. Only touched the oil. I only tasted what burned me. Finnegas closed his eyes. It was not anger that filled him, but resigned wonder, for he saw that then that the prophecy had never been about him. It had always been about the boy. You
Isn't
must
that always the way?
I mean,
It's always about the twinks, isn't it?
always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Poor Finnegas. You must go, said Finnegas. Your name is not Demne anymore. From this day you shall be known as Finn, the fair one, the wise one. Your fate is greater than mine.
Because Finn means like light or fair haired.
Oh, really? Ah, so you could say his hair was Finnin.
Wow. I don't know what horrifies me more, the pun itself or the fact that you thought of it before I did. But once I was telling this story to a friend and they said, oh, is his name Finn now because the fish had fins? And I was just like, I'm going to leave now. I'm going to leave this world. I'm going to wander into the woods and never be seen again.
Oh my God. Okay, so and so Finn left, carrying with him not just knowledge, but the weight of what to do with it. For from that moment on, when he needed guidance, he would place his thumb into his mouth and the wisdom would return. But wisdom is not always easy nor gentle. It shows not what just is, but what must be done. Ooh.
It goes on to become like one of the coolest heroes of Irish myth, but anytime he needs like knowledge, he has to suck his thumb, which I think is kind of fun.
I think that's absolutely brilliant. Can you imagine that superpower?
Yeah, just imagine being like, I will find a way to defeat you, my arch nemesis. 1 second.
Yeah.
Thumb
like,
in mouth.
Like some big baby, just.
Yeah. It's like, oh, is the baby scared? Why would I be scared? I don't know what your weakness is.
Absolutely.
Man.
I want to know what Freud would have to say about it.
I don't. If Freud had wrote this myth, the oil would have fallen on his penis. And he'd have put that in his own mouth.
And that would have had its own category on OnlyFans. And
honestly, I've dated people who think the whole universe revolves around their dick. So,
yeah, the knowledge and wisdom is within it.
Yeah, you got to suck that knowledge out good and hard.
Oh, God. Oh.
Why does the knowledge taste like pineapple?
Oh.
You know what? Ignorance is bliss. If you don't hear what I have to say, you're much happier.
Yeah, we could have all slept a bit easier not hearing it.
Yeah. Hey, I'm an insomniac. If I can't sleep, no one else gets to.
So,
but yeah, lessons.
Where are we finding the lessons in this? I mean, this is
Oh,
open.
one of my favorite bits of this is when Finnegas realizes what's happened.
Hmm.
He accepts it straight away and goes, "Oh, I was, my ego led me to think that this prophecy was about me."
Mm,
Um, but like fate being what it is, if it was about me, I would have got the thing.
mm,
And learning to accept that maybe something isn't about you
mm-hmm.
is something people very much struggle with. Um, like for example, when people always, people immediately expecting responses from messages now because everyone's got their phone in their pocket. If someone doesn't reply to you straight away, the knee-jerk reaction is, oh God, they don't like me, or they're annoyed with me, or they don't care about me enough. It's like, oh, maybe they've just got other shit going on.
Yeah,
Not
yeah.
everything revolves around you. It's a very difficult concept to truly accept because we only see the world from within ourselves. We
Mm,
are the main characters in our own story, and it's hard for us sometimes to realize that other people are the main characters in their story.
mm-hmm.
And there's this big thing to achieve here, gaining all this knowledge.
Yeah.
And it's like, to fuck it, let's bring Drag Race into it,
Mm-hmm.
rather than just being like, hey, I've exposed my art to the world and now my career is going to be so much easier. People are like, well, I didn't win though.
Yes,
But
yes.
maybe it's not about that. Finnegas doesn't focus on, oh, well, I didn't get all the knowledge. They think, well, I've played a part in this. I played the part I was meant to play. And if nothing else, though, I've got a really great story to tell.
Yeah, yeah,
But you are the main character in your own story, but you are not the main character in every story.
yeah.
For the people whose lives we're in our stories, we're the main characters, but in theirs, we're the supporting cast.
Mm-hmm.
And people really struggle with that concept because they think it devalues them.
Yeah, that's it. And it,
But you should take it as an honor to be a part of someone else's story because they
right.
don't have to let you be in that.
Yeah. It's an honor just to be nominated, you know? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely. I think that, and it's interesting that you can be the supporting character while simultaneously being the main character. Like,
yeah, you're the main character in your story, they're in theirs, and they can run parallel.
mm,
And it's people often don't stop to appreciate how much someone must care about them to invite them to share in their story.
yeah, it's a lot. It's you don't just willy-nilly send out these invites. You have your inner circle, and it kind of goes out like a target, doesn't it? The people you have, friends,
Yeah,
acquaintances, and then it just becomes less and less and less and less. And if you are like if you're in proximity enough to the center of that circle to make a difference and be a part of that story, then that in itself is a bit of an honor. Um,
yeah,
Especially for something as big as this, like this to Finnegas, it should have been his big moment.
yeah. Well, one of the other things, because like I've always heard this story where it's not called the Salmon of Knowledge, it's called the Salmon of Wisdom.
Mm,
And the thing I've always taken away from this is that sometimes knowledge can get in the way of acquiring wisdom,
mm,
because Finnegas had this whole plan to acquire this wisdom, and Finn just stumbled blindly into it. He gained wisdom through making a mistake,
yeah,
through burning his thumb.
yeah,
And we don't become wiser through our successes. We become wiser through our failures and learning from our mistakes.
absolutely, yeah,
And I find that people who get so obsessed with getting everything right first time and never engaging with people who would rather turn away from something midway through than fail. And that's something I've fought with a lot in my own life. It's like,
yeah,
well, you don't actually grow if you don't fail and learn from the mistakes.
mm,
Because if you abandon something rather than make a mistake, you gain nothing.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. I think that's completely true. It's was it Thomas Edison or Einstein or one of the big like scientists said that we don't fail. I've never failed in my life. I've just found 10,000 ways not to do it. Right, and I
And
think
even that, even knowing a way to not go about something moving forward, that's gains knowledge and wisdom.
yeah, absolutely.
The only failure is repeating the same mistakes over and over again.
Mm.
But even if you do that, if the fallout from the mistake is less each time, you still improve.
Yeah.
There's this aim towards perfection, which is ridiculous in itself because there's no such thing.
Yeah.
Um, and again, like, you know, in my story, capitalism's always the bad guy. It's like, well, if you can't make money out of it, what's the point? So it's like, why, oh, don't perform if you're not making money. Don't make art if you're not making money. Don't do these things if they won't make you money. And it's like, whatever happened to you can't buy happiness? Do
Yeah.
things for you. And I think the problem is now that the world is so connected through, the interwebs, is that there's always someone waiting to criticize you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it's like, if TikTok was around when this happened, and
Mm.
Finn was there, like, yo, what up, my boys? I'm just roasting this salmon. Oh, I've burnt my thumb. Oh no. Mm.
Yeah.
Gains all the knowledge and wisdom in the universe. There'd still be people going, what an idiot burning his thumb. There'd be hundreds of thumbs.
Yeah. Absolutely. Never cooked a fish
Like,
before.
yeah, we're not allowed to. Society punishes you for making mistakes. And also, like, cancel culture. Yeah, okay. If you're like, parading yourself around doing hate speech, yeah, maybe you should be cancelled. But people get cancelled over much smaller things. And
Mm.
again, it's taking everything too far and not looking for like finesse and differences in things. It's black and white. Everything's got so much like that. And
Mm.
I think it's led to a society where people are afraid to make mistakes. We only post the things we're proud of on social media. So
Mm.
when you scroll through social media, you're comparing yourselves to people's best moments and you're not seeing their failures and their mistakes.
Mm. Mm.
Like,
Absolutely.
this is a stupid story, but my husband's running a D&D campaign at the moment, and my character has an older brother who's like a famous, successful adventurer, and
Yeah.
because they're like their brother's like sword and ha ha ha, and they're a wizard, they can't take a hit and they read a lot and they can do magic. But they got so excited when they find this prophecy that mentions them. They've got to go on an adventure with all my friends' characters, and they had this moment in the role play where they realized that their brother had never told them about the hard parts. Whenever their brother came home, they'd be like, I slayed this monster, I did this, I did that, but they never mentioned the pain of being bitten by like a hydra, or like the fact that you can die fighting monsters, which my character actually did. Luckily we had a cleric in the party to bring him back to life. And there was a point when we were role playing and my character just broke down and said, my brother probably didn't want me to worry about him, but because he never told me about his mistakes or the things that can go wrong, I wasn't prepared.
That is so important. Like people that they go to therapy and they say to you, or the therapist, they say, oh, my family, they were great though. They were great. I have anxiety, I have depression, but my family are great. Like, this fine. This, that. And they go straight to the defense of their family, which is understandable. Everybody wants to defend their family. But often these anxieties and these depressions, they don't come from intentional neglect or
No,
negative neglect. Often it comes from, maybe you had parents who protected you too much, in the sense that they made sure that you had the happiest and nicest life that you could, but that never allowed them to teach you how to manage your emotions.
yeah, I had this exact conversation with my therapist last week because we started looking back into my childhood, and I had to sort of accept that my parents didn't actively do anything wrong, and I had a very good childhood.
Mm.
But because I was so capable
Mm.
of just, getting on with things, I
Mm-hmm.
was left to.
Yeah.
And I never learned how to ask for help or accept help properly, because
Mm-hmm.
like one of my parents was away all the time, with work, and my mum worked full time, was also raising me and my sister, and I fell into the stereotype of going me boy, sister girl, sister younger, sister need more. And
Mm-hmm.
I was like trying to find ways to help around the house. I was coming home with amazing grades and being told, well done, keep doing that. If I went above and beyond, that became my new bare minimum standard. And
Yeah.
like my parents were proud of me and were supportive, but I never felt I could stop. And
Mm.
like my mother's even said to me recently when I've been struggling with my mental health, well, you've endured worse than this. You can endure anything. I'm like, yeah, but being left to do that is horrible.
Yeah.
And it was never done out of malice. My parents just, I would say I was fine and they believed me because I always seemed to be.
Mm.
And and it's in these situations, it's not my parents' fault. Like, no one gives you a manual on how to look after another human being.
God, no.
And I don't blame my parents at all. I think it's a marvel with how messed up I am that I didn't end up just because of who I am, and and how bizarre I just am in my core self, that I
Mm.
didn't end up more fucked up. I think they did a remarkable job of me not turning into a serial killer or just a lunatic who shouts about the end of days on the street. You know what I mean? But it is that thing of, you just sort of have to accept that maybe while no one's at fault, mistakes have been made, and we need to discuss them so that we can heal from any damage that's been done and learn from them moving forward.
Absolutely. And
If you don't tell someone that something they're doing is hurting you, and because, well, they're not trying to hurt me, this is just a side effect of something they do with no malicious intent, it's
mm,
just going to keep happening,
yeah,
and that's no good for anybody.
absolutely. And it doesn't teach safety in that, you know?
No,
Those
well,
that
that's
arise, they need to know that those feelings are safe.
yeah. I mean, like, I have this conversation all the time, but I am so happy that there's, like, you know, Gen Z queer
Mm.
people. So many of them didn't feel afraid coming out because of the way the world had moved since I was a teenager, which is not, that long a time ago.
Mm.
Um, and like, they've had to deal with less stuff than I have. I want every generation to deal with less horror than the one before.
Yeah.
But I think there is a lack of discussion about what went on, how recently it went on, and a lack of respect for the people who put in the work to make things better. And
Mm-hmm.
it's like, with the horrible backsliding we're seeing at the moment, with queer rights, especially for trans people, and people, I'm so proud that I'm seeing so many younger people engaging, going, no, right, that's it. It's a protest again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Pride is a protest again. If we are not accepting this level of backslide, and the thing that really saddens me is the people I'm seeing not getting on this bandwagon are millennials, people in my age bracket,
Yeah.
who were coming out when it was still a bit sketchy.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as good as we've got it now in a lot of things, and it's backsliding to worse than that. And they're just going, oh well, they're not specifically saying gay men, so I'm not worried about it. And it's like,
Mm-hmm.
everyone in history was made to read that. I did not speak out when they came for them because I was not one of them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Everyone was forced to read that in history. How are we forgetting? And again, like, being divided, being told the reason you have problems is these people and these people, it's not true. Again, like, stop for a minute, suck your thumb, ask about what you're being told and who's benefiting from you thinking this.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. And that was a perfect circle back there. Like
Yeah.
the knowledge and the wisdom is out there. For God's sake, it literally grew on trees.
Yeah. But
Like,
just like Finn, you do have to stop and take a minute.
Mm, mm-hmm.
You don't have to actually suck your thumb, but if it helps you stop and think, do it.
Yeah.
But like, it wasn't like, oh, Finn like took a sip of the oil and now just has all that stuff permanently. No, the whole point is, even with all the knowledge at your fingertips or your thumb tips, you
Yeah.
do have to stop and take a second to analyze it.
Yes. Oh my goodness. That's it. And I think that's a really perfect metaphor with us literally having all this knowledge and wisdom at our
Yeah.
fingertips now. Yeah.
Yeah. And asking, if someone is saying something about something,
Mm,
why are they taking this view on it?
yeah.
What other things could be influencing them saying something is this way?
Mm. Are they going to like, are they reacting from experience, or is this knowledge they found at their fingertip?
Everyone has bias. Like, I'm saying all these things through my bias because what I want is and I want the world to change in a certain way. I want people who listen to this to think, actually, that knee-jerk reaction I have to that information, should I stop and think about it a bit longer? Should I
Mm,
stop and go, well, hang on, I get all my information from one news source.
mm-hmm.
Why do they always talk about things in this light? And who is benefiting from me and the other people who read this believing this?
Mm-hmm.
Because no one put something out for the whole world to see without wanting to get a certain thing back, a certain reaction to the information. Whether it's art, whether it's, you know, a podcast, whether it's news,
Yeah.
they're wanting to get people to think a certain way. And that is not always malicious.
No, not at all.
But you have to have the critical thinking skills to say, right, why is this person saying to me this?
Mm-hmm.
And what benefit would they have from me agreeing with this? Because the benefit I would have for people agreeing with the way I'm saying this is that more people would do that extra step of thinking, which I think would make the world a lot better for people like me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, people who are mixed race, people who are queer, people who are autistic, people who have disabilities. I check so many boxes. I'm
Yeah.
an all-in-one diversity hire. But it's like, because obviously the way the world's going does make it more dangerous for me. So I am putting this out with the bias of going, if people just stopped and thought, actually,
Yeah.
who's benefiting from me believing what I'm being told?
Mm.
I honestly think that the better side of human nature would come out on top.
I think if you actually took a minute to suck your thumb, you'd realize that kindness and compassion is the real knowledge and wisdom.
Yeah. Like
Yeah.
no one who is the people that we get told to blame for everything are just trying to get better lives for themselves. They're not trying to hurt anybody. And
Mm.
again, like I said earlier, if their actions are harming you, but it's not malicious, find a compromise that can work for everybody. Stop making everything us or them.
That's it. If we can understand each other.
The second someone points a finger and says they're to blame for this, you should ask what they're hiding. The
Yeah.
second someone does, look over there, you
Mm.
should immediately want to know what they don't want you to look at.
Check what's in the other hand. Absolutely.
I went to China on this trip once with school, and we're taking the bus from because we spent a few days in Beijing, but then we went to an area called the Yuan province where we were staying at this language school.
Mm.
And then after we finished, a few of the Chinese students came back and spent some time in England with us. It was a really good trip. But when we went up, going up to the Yuan province, we've like traveled on a plane for a bit, and then we're get on a coach up to this school. And the Chinese language students are all going, look at this, out one side of the bus.
Mm.
And I turned my head to look to the left, and it was just poverty. It was derelict houses with people living in them. And I'm like, wow. You know, I was 17 and thinking, God, this is actually how the world works. Like, oh, look at this. Look at all the stuff we're building over here. You know, look,
Yeah.
we've got fast food restaurants, the same ones that you have in England.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there are people over there who do not have any food. And
Yeah.
you're just going, look over here, look over here.
Wow.
If someone is trying to get all your attention in one direction, it's because they're trying to hide something from you.
That's very, very valid.
And I'm not saying that's always the case.
No, no, no.
Like,
Of course not.
but like when it's a political thing or a media thing, when it's a big, like a colossus,
Mm.
this unit, this corporation trying to point your attention in one direction, it's because they don't want you looking somewhere else. If
Mm.
it's an individual saying, oh my God, look at these new shoes I've got, they're probably not trying to distract you from the haircut they got. They might be, but they're probably not.
Absolutely. Yeah. That's been, yeah, very, very eye-opening. Whereas the knowledge, I think from that, I've definitely taken the knowledge of Finnegas and how he was going to receive this wisdom, but actually wisdom came from the mistake
Mm,
from Demne.
yeah.
And
And even with all this knowledge, then they still have to take the time to process it before being able to use it.
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. Oh, this has been incredibly interesting. Is there anything you want to
Yeah.
add at the end of that?
I will just say it's just like, you know, the idea that, you know, getting the wisdom through the mistake. It's like read all the self-help books you like, but it's not until you turn a page and get a paper cut that you'll actually learn something.
Oh, I like that. Wow, that's so true. It's you can read about healing, but it ain't gonna heal you. You've got to do the practice.
Yeah. And again, I think so many like self-help programs of advice, they tell you what to do, But the one thing they don't tell you to do is how to actually start doing it. It's like, these are the things you need to do, but there's a difference between seeing a list of things you need to do and actually finding a way into it.
Yeah.
Especially when it's something so alien. And again, we're also afraid of looking like a fool or doing it wrong. But I just love once like a mental health or a self-help book to just be like, the first 17 times you do this, you're going to feel like an idiot and it's not going to work the way you want it to.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like the idea that you're meant to do this and then it's meant to be done. But no, if you struggle with your mental health, you have to accept the possibility that you might struggle with it forever, and you have to do the constant work to maintain it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, absolutely.
It's like physical injuries. If you damage your leg, even once it's healed, you can still get twinges, and you need to know how to deal with them. And it's the same with your mental health. Because also you might find a way to cope with the mental health difficulties you have. But then if your environment changes, you might need to update that process or change it.
Absolutely.
You're never done. Stop, suck your thumb, and have a think.
That's it. That's going to be, yeah.
That's a t-shirt.
That's the t-shirt. Put it on a t-shirt. Stop, suck your thumb, have a think. Oh, Blair, it's been magical again, as always. And as I've said in previous episodes, do give the Witch Blair a follow on Instagram at _witch_Blair. And we will catch up with you next time.
Toodaloo. Suck your thumb.
Suck your thumb. Oh, I've lost how to turn off the recording.
I've lost